Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. In today's video I'm going to share with you an extremely valuable tip that you need to know before planting out your tomato seedlings. This tip is going to help you grow the best tomato plants ever, which of course is what we want. And make sure you keep watching to the end because I'm going to share with you 2 bonus tips for growing tomatoes which you don't want to miss. If you're new here, my name is Holly and I post videos on how you can grow, cook and preserve your own food at home naturally and sustainably. So if that is something that you're interested in, definitely hit subscribe because I have heaps more tips and tricks to share with you. And if you do want to find out more about me, I have some links below in the description for my social media channels, my website which I have some recipes and articles, and also an exclusive members only portal. So be sure to check those out down below. Okay, so I have planted these tomato seedlings from a seed and now they've grown and they have some true leaves. So when you first plant your tomato seeds, they'll shoot out 2 little leaves and they all look the same. And then after that, the 3rd and 4th leaves start to have a little bit of shape to them and look a lot more like tomato leaves. And these are called the true leaves. So this tip I'm going to share with you is relevant for any size tomato plant that you're going to be planting in the garden. Whether it is these small seedling ones or you've purchased a bigger plant or seedling from the store, this tip is going to help you grow bigger, stronger plants. The great thing about tomato plants is that they can form roots anywhere along that main stem, and they'll do that really quickly and easily. And we want to encourage as many roots as we can because the roots are what are going to draw up nutrients and water from the soil to help your plant grow big and strong. So the more roots we can form on our plants, the bigger and stronger our plants will be, and therefore they are going to grow a whole lot more tomatoes and food. So the trick is we are going to replant these little seedlings into a bigger pot because my gardens aren't quite ready yet to be planting out my summer seedlings. I'm still finishing off some of my winter plants and then I'm going to prep the soil and get ready for my summer seedlings. They're also quite small and delicate, and so I want to let them grow a bit stronger, get that stem a little bit hardier and stronger so that they aren't as vulnerable to pests in the garden. So I am going to repot these up into a bigger pot and let them grow a little bit more before they make it out into the garden. So when I replant these, I am going to bury them up to about halfway to 3/4 up the stem, and that means that I'm basically going to be doubling the root system of these seedlings because at the moment they have roots in this part, but when I bury them again, we're going to get roots up to here. And then you can do this next time when you plant them from this size into the garden. You can bury them halfway to 3/4 up the stem on that one as well, and that is just going to add even more root system to your plant. All right, so let's separate these out and pop them into bigger pots and get lots more roots forming so we can get bigger plants. All right, so we're just going to gently pop these out of the cells. Go. So there's 2 in this little seedling, so I'm going to separate them out by gently breaking them apart, and I can see now we've got one here. Alright, so I'm just going to dig a little hole in the middle of this. We are going to bury this seedling up to about 3/4 up the stem. Gently pop it in there, just get a little bit more soil, and there we have it. All right, so now that stem is buried compared to before when they were looking a little bit leggy, and we can do this to the other ones. Okay, so as you can see, the stem is a lot shorter now that we've buried it compared to these ones here. As this keeps growing, once it's probably, this high, 15 centimeters high or more, I will pop that in the garden and I will do the exact same thing. Remove off a few of the bottom leaves so that I can bury the stem halfway to 3/4 into the soil, and then we're going to get even more roots. So it can absorb a lot more nutrients from the soil and grow even bigger, a lot faster. Alright, so I now also have 2 extra bonus tips for you on growing tomatoes, and that is number 1 is remove off any of the bottom leaves as your plant is growing. So once your tomato plant sends off its first little tomatoes on it, you'll be able to see them, the flowers form, and then the little tomatoes will form after that. Remove any of the leaves or branches below that first set of tomatoes. And that is because tomatoes, they don't like getting dirty or wet. So we want to remove any of those bottom leaves so that any soil doesn't splash up on them from any rain, watering or anything like that, because any soil that gets on their leaves can spread bacteria and cause diseases. So we want to keep our tomato plants really clean and not have any of their leaves touching the soil. So once you see those little flowers and tomatoes form, just remove any of the leaves below that to the ground. That will stop them falling down and touching the soil, or any soil splashing back up when it rains or they get watered. And that will help you grow really healthy, strong tomatoes. And bonus tip number 2 is you can actually take cuttings from tomatoes and grow heaps more plants for free really quickly, much quicker than planting extra seeds or planting seedlings. So the way that you can take cuttings is by cutting off what is called suckers. So suckers form in between the main branch and the leaves. So sort of at a 90-degree angle, you'll have the main stem, you'll have your leaves and branches forming off the side, and then in between will be some little side shoots. Those side shoots, if they get a little bit longer, so maybe this size, you can actually cut those off and pop them in a jar of water or soil, and they will sprout roots and grow. And they will grow so much quicker than planting seeds or seedlings. So this can be a really good way to just get a whole lot more plants quickly and expand your tomato harvests. The key to doing this is make sure you do it quite early in the season, because they are going to be direct clones from your main tomato plant. So if your main tomato plant has any diseases, it will carry across to those clones. So it is good to do that early in the season before your tomato plants have had a chance to get any diseases or bugs. I am so excited for the tomato season ahead. I have heaps of different varieties planted. Here we've got the Tommy Toe, which has lots of little red tomatoes. I've also got the purple Cherokee here that we were just potting up. I've also got some yellow ones, and I also have some of the bigger varieties like the Mortgage Lifter. I also have the big rainbow. So many tomatoes, because I absolutely love growing tomatoes. When you start growing your own food at home, you'll really start to notice the difference in taste and flavour. Things taste so much better when you grow your own at home, and tomatoes are one of the top examples of that. The contrast between a homegrown tomato and a store-bought tomato is so different. They are way more juicier, they have heaps more flavour, and there's so many different varieties that you can get rather than just the standard ones that you get at the store. So if you are interested in growing your own food at home, definitely try out growing tomatoes, because they will definitely get you hooked on growing your own food. And if you did find this video helpful, please give it a like and share, so together we can help inspire and help more people grow their own food at home.